Okay, in this spreadsheet, we're simulating the development of a form letter. People have applied to something and they've been accepted or not, and so we want to send them a letter that automatically welcomes them or gives them an apology, thanks for applying type of message if they were not accepted. So if we look at our data, we've gotten the preferred address that they want to use, Mr., Mrs., Dr. We got first name, but notice that in the first name, some of them are lowercase. So we want to fix that. We don't want to send somebody a letter and fail to capitalize the first letter of their last name. We can see that that's also the case with the last name column. So Sly is lowercase. Now theoretically, you could come through, you could fix all of your data. You could do that manually, but imagine if you had 10,000 applicants. That would take a lot of time. We don't want to do that manually. We can use Excel's functions to help clean up our data. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of functions that we embed here to make this happen. Okay, so one function that's going to be useful here is the concat function. So depending on what version of Excel you're using, if we just type concat, you'll see concat or concatenate. Concatenate is the old version. You want to use concat, it's going to be the new version. If we just look here, they basically do the same thing. Just you can see here there's a little warning sign. It's basically Microsoft telling you that they don't want you to use that anymore. It'll work for compatibility reasons, but they want you to use the new version. So concat is the new version. So here we see text 1 and ellipses. So that ellipses means that we can supply a bunch of different text elements that will all be combined. So every letter is going to start off in quotation marks, dear space. Okay, that's it. Now we want to insert the preferred address. So it'll be Mr., Mrs., or Doctor in these cases, in this data set, or Ms. And then for text 3, we want to just put a space. And now we need the person's first name, but we want to capitalize the first letter of their name. So we can use the upper function. But now what do we want to make upper? So we're going to say left, and then we're going to refer to the first name column. Number of characters is 1. So it's going to take the first letter of the first name and make it uppercase. If it's already uppercase, Excel's not going to change anything. It's going to be good to go. I'm going to close this off right now. Put that last parentheses there to see what we've got so far. So it says, Dear Mr. Jake, or sorry, Dear Mr. J. So now we need to get the ache part of that. And getting the ache part is trickier than you think it might be. So here's what we can do. So in text 4, we want to go to text 5 to get the ache. So we're going to take the rightmost characters. So how many characters? We're going to take the length of Jake, so that's 4. And we're going to subtract 1. Let's see, I need another parentheses at the end of that. Oops, a daisy. So the 3 is for the 3 characters. So if you look at the right function, the text, I forgot to refer to the actual text. So the text is Jake, and then we have the number of characters. Goodness gracious. This is easy to mess up, as you can tell. So I'm going to hit enter. It says, Dear Mr. Jake. Okay. Now we have to basically do that again. Comma, we have to put a space before the last name. And then I'm going to say upper left, the last name. That's the text of the last name. The number of characters we want is just 1. Okay, that looks good. And now we need the owns part. So I'm going to say right. I'm going to click on Jones in the middle so it works. And the number of characters will be the length of Jones minus 1. Now let's double check that. So dear Jake Jones, Mr. Jake Jones, so that's good. Then I need a comma, space, quotation mark. I'm going to hit enter again. Let's check. Okay, that's working. And if I copy it down, is it going to work for everybody? Yes, so everything is capitalized properly. That's good. All right, now we need the contents of the letter so that they've been accepted or not. So we can do an if statement here. So if accepted equals yes, so the value of true, I'm going to put in quotation marks. Congratulations, you've been accepted. Now the only other value is n, so I don't necessarily need to explicitly check for n, but I can put here, sorry, your application was denied. Because I only have 2 choices, this works just fine. If there was a maybe or deferred or something, I would want to check for the accepted value of n specifically. This should be okay. All right. And it's easy to mess up. Let's see. Let's be consistent. I need my period back there, so it's fine. It's close. Okay, so building it piece by piece, we were able to fix everything, get it working. One little issue with the right function that we had to correct, but everything should be working properly. So I'm just going to double check my data, best practice. So the people who have ends, sorry, you've been denied, denied. The yeses, accepted, and accepted. So it looks like it's working correctly. You don't want to accidentally mail out lots of letters telling people that they've been accepted when they have not been accepted. A couple of universities have gotten into trouble doing that, made a lot of people disappointed. So doing this, once we get our formulas correct, we could have, again, thousands and thousands of rows, and we could use our Excel functions to clean up our data and to make sure that everything is correct without having to go in one by one and fix all of the potential input errors. This is going to prevent a lot of mistakes from happening. So we're not going to send somebody an acceptance letter because we just misread our spreadsheet. We're going to rely on our functions to help us out.